Good evening. It's May 28th. Welcome to the Chevy Nova 7374 Nova Hour. I'm one of the admins, David Meyer, and it's been a while since I've talked to you guys. I've got to apologize. I've been so busy getting this turd running and ball hockey playoffs, and suddenly everybody, hey, Dave, can you back in? Then tonight, I promised to do a stream, and then I got surprised with a supper for my girlfriend and her kids because today's my birthday. So I'm just going to give everybody a little chance to log in, and then a few topics to touch on, including a hot topic I started last week about whether or not to open up our forum, our group, to our corporate cousins. Okay, I'm kind of biased, okay? What can I say? So wait a few minutes. Oh, look at that. Robert from Phoenix, Arizona is in the house. Craig Watson with the Death Nova. And Daniel Lomax, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Nova stream. Sorry, a little late. I still have my notes from the last one we did back in April. I still have to post that up, the summary of our stream. I'm going to watch it again so I can give a proper summary. And then I got some paper to take notes for today. And hey, Kim has joined us. Nova girl, how you doing? And Craig, if you're joining us here, how's the Death Nova coming? Are you back? Is it back together? Are you racing? I think I saw something where you had the whole front end apart again. That's another Nova I've had the pleasure of watching all these years transform from a regular car like this to a full-blown drag car. I don't know. Craig, do you still drive that thing on the street? So we'll see if Craig can answer those questions. Hey, Al, how you doing? I'm glad you've joined because we're going to talk on that topic of the corporate cousins, and we'll briefly talk about the new group that has been formed because of it. And from Texas, that's good ways away from me. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, up north, eh? Sorry. Okay, I think I covered all the Canadian stereotypes there, everything but the Tim Hortons coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. So just give a few people moments to log in. Okay, Craig's answered our question. No, it's a full-time drag car now and for many years. Craig is also one of the co-admins of twoquicknovas.com, which has a lot of resource pages. And Craig is one of the guys who helped me when I very first started modifying this car. Craig and his friend Bruce Johnson with the 72 basically were helping me and guiding me along with my friend Glenn Evans, who lives here in Winnipeg. And my car would not be what it is without those two gentlemen. So thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Craig. twoquicknovas.com. Make sure you check it out. Oh, look at that. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are out. twoquicknovas.com. Thank you very much, guys. And definitely check out that site. So I'll just give everybody a quick moment here to log in. Just going to go grab myself a water because I'm dying of thirst here. The Omega is all ready to go and race. I don't know if you can see there's writing on the windshield, but it's our race season has started up here at Interlake Dragway in Gimli, Manitoba. And my dad's racing, of course, Heavy Street to defend his title. Also racing No Box. And he made it to the second rounds in both Sunday and Monday last week. So that was pretty good. That's better than how he started last year. So looking forward to getting out there again this weekend. And I'm hoping I may have the Nova out there for the following outing in June 15th. Because we have some grudge racing and night racing going on. And the Nova is my signature cruise car. Excuse me. I want to drive it. I want to race it. I want to beat on it. All right, Jason has joined us. Hey, Jason, how you doing? And oh yeah, no problem, Craig. Again, appreciate you being part of our group too to share your drag racing knowledge with everybody. And then actually, your friend Nathan Stinson, I think is his last name. He's got the silver 73-year-old drag out car. Him and Craig frequent our group a lot, so make sure you check out Nathan's car as well. I believe his is a full-time drag car as well. So it's 8:04. We'll just wait a couple minutes here. Holy crap, we've got 11 viewers already. All right, let's get some flavor in this water. Oh. And as you could see on the Chevy Nova 73-74 group, we started changing the cover pictures twice a week now, on Mondays and on Thursdays. Before it was just Wednesdays we were doing it. Problem is you guys are posting so many pictures, so many beautiful pictures of your cars. I love them all. I don't care if it's a beater, a show queen trailer car, just a typical daily driver. I'll post them all. I post them all. All our members are valuable, and all our members' cars matter. I don't even care if it's a parts car. If it's a good picture, I'll post it up. So we're changing those Monday and Thursdays now, just because I have so many that I've saved and collected, and I want to go through them all. I want to showcase your Novas. So that's one thing that caught up on. And I guess, are we ready for the hot topic here? Stinson. Yeah, I hope I pronounced it right. It's, an X275 bad boy. Oh, where's Doug Toe? I'm calling him out. Doug Toe, he's a member. He's actually the admin and founder of the Lila Nova group, which is a group that he started back when he was sick to bring people with cars to him because he was homebound due to illness. So he brought the cruising scene to him. So if you get a chance, check out Lila Nova. And I'm pretty sure majority of you guys probably know who Scott Pope is. He takes a good bugging over there. So if you want to jump on that bandwagon, there's that. Check out that group. Okay, 8:05, 8:06 Central Standard Time. Last week, I created a poll asking whether or not we should open our group up to the corporate cousins, the Oldsmobile GTO and the Buick Apollo. Now, when I put that poll up, my original intent for that was that not necessarily open it up to all the members of those car communities, but we just wouldn't go as far as deleting posts if somebody posted about a Buick Apollo or a post about an Omega Ventura saying, they saw one or whatever. My intent was more just that we would kind of overlook the posts. I know I personally overlooked some of the posts that were posted. Some of the other admins or moderators caught them, deleted them. And that's fine. I'm not giving anyone heck because rules are rules. And so that's where that poll came from. And then it opened right up to, do we let all these cars in? Now, the results were overwhelming. Let me just read them here. Let's see if I can find them quickly. The poll, and yeah, I started that. So you know what? Let's just do a search for my name here. Now, I should have been better prepared, so please forgive me here. And of course, now I can't find it. Is this it here? Oh, okay, here it is here. We had a lot of people vote. The poll was to open the group up to just 74 X bodies. We had 184 people say open it up to our corporate cousins. We had 33 people vote to no, keep it just Novas. Now, after this poll went up, a few of the admins, we got together in chats. We started, exchanging chats back and forth. And within a couple of hours, even I had changed my position on it. And there were some very good comments. I went through all the comments. There's 70 comments on here. And I weighed the pluses and the minuses of it. Now, I've got them both. So, yes, I'm a little biased in that because there are times I've stuck in the odd Omega post. But then I looked at some of our other forums and other groups out there like Chevy Nova Nation, Nova Monsters, all kinds of Novas, and all the other big major Nova groups out there. And I saw how big they were. I saw the number of members that were there. And a lot of people made some good comments that if it gets too big, then now you got to weed out the trouble now. But more so, I know I myself, I have shied away from the big groups like Chevy Nova Nation, which is a great group. Please, I'm not trying to take anything away from it. But to me, it was almost too big, too many opinions, too many cooks in the kitchen per se. And really a lot of comments mentioned of, what a good thing we have here at Chevy Nova 7374, with it being a smaller community. I think we have 800 members. And I wish I had written down which comment it was. It was written by L. It was very good. And, I'm sorry, I'm very not prepared. But it basically boiled down to, at one time, there wasn't many groups for it, so we let the odd one in and that. But now these groups have been around for a couple of years now, and even I'm a part of the Omega group, and when I'm a part of an Omega group, I don't post about my Chevy Nova there. So really, even without the voting results, we had decided that we are going to keep it closed. And as a result of that, a couple of the men's got together, and Al got together here. Al Goodmote, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Al, started up one called 7374 X Bodies, and then in brackets, Nova, Omega, Ventura, Apollo. So we now have a sister group to Chevy Nova 7374 for all the cars, all the corporate cousins. And I honestly think keeping the Chevy Nova 7374 closed to just 7374 Novas is probably the best thing to keep from us being too big and too kind of spread out. Always, of course, interested in your all opinion here. And I see here a couple people have said, yeah, open it up. I honestly think opening up would be the death of this group. I really do. And that's just from what the opinions of some of the other admins as well. But I'm just speaking for myself here. So hopefully you guys will be okay with that. I'll close the poll down. I'm going to go through those comments again and prepare a better presentation, I guess. But really, I think opening it up would be the death of us. Like I said, I myself, I don't frequent the big groups anymore. It's just, there's just too much. It's just too much of everything. So hopefully you guys will be okay with that. And as I mentioned, we have the 7374 X Bodies, Nova, Omega, Ventura, Apollo group, which the same admins are looking after both groups. We have the same people doing both. So myself, Al, William Hamlet, who's the originator of 7374, he's also a part of it too. He was also on board with all of this. So please, by all means, check out the other group as well. Okay, and yeah, Rob says he only sticks to 4 Nova groups. And Ron, yeah. I think Ron's thinking the same lines as I am, so that's what I got for that. Okay, now let's go back. Let's see where my agenda was for today. I had posted up asking for suggestions. And Mike Zarzoza? Oh, I hope I'm not slaughtering that too bad. Mike, I don't know if you're on or not, but dude, do not sell your Nova unless you're like really hard up for cash or you need it. You'll regret it. I mean, I've had my Nova since, well, it's been in the family since new. I couldn't imagine my life without the Nova. Don't do it. Okay, so now I covered that. Let's see. Oh, there's some beautiful pictures people are posting again today, so that's awesome. Okay. Where am I here? Okay, there's Will. Some more pictures. And as you see, Dave Martin came up with an idea for header gasket leaks where he made those aluminum spacers, which is a pretty cool idea. Pretty thick, though. I'm kind of curious why he went with such a thick spacer. But I myself, I use the copper ones from Mr. Gasket in the Omega. With the cutouts, because I'm always taking them on and off. And I find those copper ones for like, I think it's 40 bucks Canadian, were well worth the money. Okay, scrolling down. And Joe Wesley, he did some redecorating of his interior, cleaning it up. Looks great, Joe. And where are we here? I got my laptop here, and it's trying to go. Boy, I mean, I know I've been pretty busy lately, and I haven't been on as much as I should, even though I do read everything. I haven't been posting much. Let's see here. Okay, here we are. So I'm just going to go down the comments here. The discussion relating to air conditioning, stock components versus vintage air. I myself, I don't have air in either of my two rides. I've never really looked into it. So if any of you guys could pipe up about air conditioning, because we had a little bit of a chat there. And sorry, just to get back to Elle's comment there about please join the X-Body group. I will post the link to that other group as well. It has been posted, but I'll post it in the summary as well for you, Al, to our X-Body corporate group. Okay, getting back to the vintage air. Sorry, guys. And some great comments there. If you guys please take a minute to read some of these comments here. It seems like everybody is on board with kind of keeping it closed. So, okay, you know what? We've put that to rest. Let's move on here. So, vintage air again, stock components versus vintage air. I haven't been on Vintage's Air website, so I don't know what the cost of kits like that are. But by all means, if you guys have those kind of systems, please pipe up, because there's some people looking into it. Jason Ake. I'm so bad with names. I'm really sorry. I do not mean to disrespect you by mispronouncing your name. He's looking at air conditioning. And as you saw that one picture I posted, I just sat with a bag of ice. It was that hot in Gimli that day when when we were driving. All right, and then there's GM corporate. Okay, dealt with. Okay, back spacing again was an issue, and actually on twoquicknovas.com they do have a tire fitment page on there that explains tire sizes you can fit, and I guess measuring offset. Let's deal with that one. We've talked about that one before. Don't fall. Okay. I'm all right. Okay. A 15 by 7 Steely. Now to measure your back spacing, and of course I don't know where I put my ruler. I actually had brought one out here that would fit. You want to measure from the lip here across, get something to lie flat across, then measure from the flat part here to where that ruler would be, for example. That is your back spacing. That is how far the rim sticks forward and how far back it goes. I believe, what is it, 4.5 or 3.75? Oh boy, I'm really winging it tonight. But yeah, to measure the back space, it's from the lip here to the lip there, and that's your back spacing right here. I think a few pages have been posted about that, but we'll discuss that again. So wheel spacing, and let's see what else. In fact, Kim posted just below that. Kim posted an excellent chart on identifying wheel dimensions and all that. So there, it was actually posted there. I don't know if you guys could see that on the camera. So Kim actually did some homework for me. Awesome. All right, what's after wheel spacing? Front end conversions. Oh no, Al, why did you put that? Front end conversions. I know nothing about that. I really have no interest in looking in that because I like my 73 with the big bumpers. That's half the time. That's where I keep my tools, my ratchets, my wrenches when I am working on the car. And for those people in there who are wrenching, pulling motors and doing like a lot of work on your car, take the 5 minutes and unscrew the 8 screws. You'll thank me for it later. And body mounts. Oh, that's a good one. Dave Williams talked about body mounts. Oh, we got a lot more comments. Okay, I'll address the comments in a sec. Body mounts, he was talking about how some of the solid ones and the polyurethane ones were not as thick as the stock mounts, and to use washers as spacers. I've never actually checked on body mounts because I've always just replaced them with stock rubber ones. I mean, the first set of stock rubber ones lasted 40 years. I imagine they're going to last another 40 years, but I imagine you could use washers to, make up that spacing. I don't know what the official spacing is for that. Okay, expansion. Traction bar setup. Okay, yeah, John Dark was asking about that. And I actually did that on an earlier stream about traction bars, because I actually have both sets. I have the kind that bolt onto the spring before and after the spring plate and go right to the spring eye. And I have the Lakewood kind on my Omega, which replace the spring plate and only go about 3/4 of the way up the car. There's good and bad to that, because the ones that don't go to the spring eye, like the Lakewood ones, are actually bending the spring on my Omega from the way it's hammering and loading up all the time. Where I find the ones that I made for my Nova that bolt before and after the spring plate, I was able actually to make them so they're higher than the rim, so it's not, angled down like the Lakewood ones. They're more of a flat bar. With that going to the spring eye, huge difference in the way it feels in the back there. So, John, I'll look that video up for you and post it again. Just going to go through the comments here. By all means, guys, speak away, talk amongst yourselves as well. This isn't just about me nattering here. You guys feel free. All right. Matt has been on Vintage Air and says they have now come out with a unit for the 73-74. So that's great news. So you know what? Let me write that down. Vintage Air has a 73-74 unit. So I'll have to find out about that and post about it. And can't find stock AC. That's from Carson. And Vintage Air versus getting the parts for my factory setup. The price difference was $500 for me. Vintage Air was about $1,400. Okay, well, $900 difference, Kim. Yeah, that would be quite the difference to overcome to put a Vintage Air system in, if you're able to find a stock setup that still works and all that. Again, I've never looked into air conditioning. I mean, I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba here. It gets hot for maybe 2 months, and I just put up with it. In fact, you guys are going to laugh at this. When it's about 35, 40 degrees outside on those hot days, I actually turn the heat on inside the car. I get the car so hot inside that the air coming in feels cool. I'm a goalie. I've taken a few shots to the head. That's how I explain it. So yeah, the stock, I imagine the stock parts would be very hard to find. Where if you do buy the kit, everything's there. All right, if I want to get a long time ago, but yeah, Ron originally got rid of all his. And I would also think if you were to change it, I forgot the cars have got an alarm on it. If you were to change it to the stock AC, you're going to actually have to cut your firewall different, because it's actually a rectangular hole this way as opposed to like portrait. It's more of a landscape hole. So you would actually have to do quite a bit of work to your firewall if you were going to do a stock setup. I'm really interested in that Vintage Air. I'm going to look that up. But if you're saying it's $1,400, that's going to be about $2,200 Canadian when all's said and done. Oh, okay. And then our friend Nick here is in need of stock leaf springs. The set I ordered actually lowered it 1.5 inches. Oh, yeah. I don't know where to tell you to go for springs. I know the springs in my Nova here. I actually went to a suspension shop back in, what was it, 2003, and had them re-arc. I told them how high I wanted the car. Came back 2 days later, and that's how high it was. So I didn't end up reordering new springs, or I didn't put, those shackle kits in. Personally, I think the shackle kits look hokey when you got that big bar hanging out the back there, but I just prefer to do it the right way and just get the springs arced myself. And then I don't think stock air conditioning box will fit with exhaust headers. That's a good point, Carson, as well. I never thought of. Because, yeah, you have that rectangular hole. We'd actually have to get somebody with air conditioning. If somebody with air conditioning with a V8 small block, if you could post a picture of your engine bay and running headers, I'd be very curious to see that. And Johnny Lane's come on here. 245 60-15 on a 15x8 is the widest he could get in the rear well. No air shocks, spring shackles, and he had to roll his lip in on each side. I know I've got 245 60-15s on 15x7 on the Omega. Those fit no problem on the Nova and the Omega, but I've been able to go bigger. I can go 255 60, but I cannot fit a 275 60-15 on a 15x7. I just can't do it, and I don't really have a lip left. The rest took care of that. But I was actually able to go to a 275 50 series on a 15x7 rim, and actually that's what my drag radials are, and what I have on the car now are BF Goodrich 265 50s, just because sometimes I like to turn a little harder, and it won't rub, where the 275 50 rubbed a little on me. And okay, so Matt's been thinking about his AC, and he says vintage is the way to go. And then Craig Watson here talks about how he made his own solid body mounts at the firewall because the ones he bought were too thin as well. So I guess, yeah, you could easily get an aluminum spacer or something made. Probably up here in Canada, we'd use a hockey puck. And I'm not kidding about that, because there's actually some people who use hockey pucks to do body lifts on their trucks. So mine won't use track bars. Johnny Lane again, mine won't use track bars. His shock mounts were too low. So Johnny, were you using the kind of traction bar that replaces the spring plate that bolts on to the U-bolts, or do you use the traction bar that bolts on before and after the spring plate? Okay, Craig Watson here. Yeah. Oh, right. Very good point here, Craig. One trick to be aware of when it comes to traction bars, make sure the rear shocks are long enough, because the rear will lift substantially. That is something I never gave consideration to. At the same time, I've never had a problem on either car. And I know I actually just have the stock Monroe Sensatrack. I don't have any kind of fancy suspension in either car. In fact, I need to get some shocks for the Omega, which is on my to-do list, but it's been on my to-do list for a couple of years. And my alarm is my headers, Rob. Kim has a website bookmarked for compressors and dryers, and also can get hoses. So maybe, Kim, if you can share that later on, that'd be great. Johnny says, yeah, my AC is my windows. Mine too, what we call 260. 2 windows down, 60 miles an hour. Speedway Motors has universal AC kits for $900. No defrost, no heat. And I think I took the air out because of the headers. Okay, so yeah, Ron. And Robert says he can fit a 255 60-15 on his car, and I think Rob is running 15x8s. And yeah, Craig makes a good point here with the rear ends on the Novas are actually off-centered by 1/4 of an inch to up to 1/4 of an inch to the passenger side, in case you're wondering about that. I never ever found out the reason why, but that's just the research I found over the years. Ron is looking for a good air shock. So if anybody can help him out there. Craig, 275s, and never had a good air shock. And never had slapper bars on it. Okay. So Johnny's just answered my... Are you looking to put traction bars on, or have you even thought of going Kel-Trax now? I guess that's the newest thing too. Like me, to do Kel-Trax, it's actually going to be quite an ordeal for me to do Kel-Trax because I have bolt-in subframe connectors, and I actually have them welded at the front, and then at the back I have them tacked in place. I guess I wasn't thinking when I did that 15 or so years ago, because if I have to change my rear springs, I now have to just grind off those welds and pull my bar down a bit to pull the bolt out for my spring. So yeah, I didn't think that one ahead too well. And then Craig mentions that he's actually seen the rear end shift the other way before. All right, so yeah, so I guess tires and traction bars are still a hot topic. All right, what's next on here? Oh, crankcase ventilation. Okay. I went overboard. I was having trouble originally. I was running a PCV valve from the drivers to the carb. And then on this side, I just had one of those, little steel vent things. When I was going on the highway, doing a lot of driving, I was getting a lot of oil sweat on the valve cover. Not only that, but there was times when I would change my carb, like change the jetting, and I'd open up the carb, and the carb is all full of oil and gunk. So talking with my buddy Dan, who built this engine, I asked him, what can I do for this? Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do what they call, I believe it's called an evac kit, where you have those chrome breathers that go onto your air covers, and a hose goes to the headers, and then the vacuum will pull it out. The danger to that is I've heard you can actually suck your oil out through the headers. Well, that's no good, and knowing my luck, that's what would happen with me. So I got these catch cans, these Moroso catch cans. Then I got some 12AN fittings, just ran a hose, and then screwed them to my valve covers. And because I have OCD and I like things to match, I bought a second one for the passenger side. Same thing, screwed it on the valve cover with a 12AN fitting. I posted pictures of that. And then run it to the catch can. Now, I open them up every spring and nothing comes out of them, so I'm not really catching anything. The downside is every now and then when I'm driving, you do get kind of the smell of oil when the breathers are breathing. I've checked over the engine, my rings are good, this and that, so I'm not too worried about it, but that's the kind of setup I've been running on my car. The Omega, I'm actually still running a breather setup on a PCV and breather setup on the Omega. I haven't had any problems with that car. And if it ain't broken, don't fix it. All right, we got a couple more comments here. Okay, so Johnny wants the old school Lakewoods. Now, Johnny, I like I said with the Lakewoods here. Here, let me grab some these wires here. I'm gonna move the mic, and I'm gonna bring you with me here. We're gonna do this little video. So, guys, if you're getting motion sick, please forgive me. Okay. Oh, I gotta around the laptop because I don't want to drop the laptop. Okay, let's put the mic right there. Yeah, this is a very cheesy and cheap production, guys. I apologize. All right, here we go with the camera. So what I'm going to show you is my traction bar setup. Okay, now what we got here on the Nova, hopefully you can see that. Let me get a light. As you can see here on my traction bar, these ones bolt before and after the spring plate. Doesn't interfere with the shock at all. And it goes right to the spring eye here. It goes right up to the spring eye. That's ideally what you want is to go here because that's a solid point. The Lakewood ones that go here, well, your spring's going to bend. You'll have a little bit of give here. And these ones here, I actually built myself. Cost me about $30 to build. Made a couple plates. And then, again, I built it with this bar to be higher than the bottom of the rim so it wouldn't catch on anything. And also, that's a safety issue up here in Manitoba. All right. Now, the Omega has the Lakewoods. Let me see what you guys are seeing here from picture-wise. Oh, okay, good. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see the arch of that spring. It's actually bending my spring. And this one here bolts. Oh, let's see if I can get it in there. See, this bolts and replaces the spring plate, which the shock bolts to. And the downside of that is look how low this comes to the ground here. But again, this is the biggie right here. Look how that's bent my spring. So the next time I have the Omega apart, and yeah, I know I'm talking about our corporate cousin. The next time I have the Omega apart, I'm going to build another set of traction bars like the Nova and upgrade the Omega. But when we were setting up the Omega to race originally, that's all I had at the time. So I hope that helps you a little with the traction bar decision there. All right. Next, what is your engine setup, trans, and rear end? I got a small block 400, board 30 over, built by my friend Dan Clem. He's on the forum as well. It's 12.6 to 1 compression. I got Pro Comp casting heads, but with comp cam and ferrule valves and locks and springs. Running now Headman headers to 3-inch dual exhaust going out the back to MagnaFlow mufflers. Turbo 350 transmission with a TCI Street Fighter 3000 stall. And for my rear end, the stock 8-bolt with 342 Richmond gears and the stock posi unit. And then, Craig, as Craig's mentioning about, I spoke earlier about how my subframe connectors are in the way. I thought about notching that, but I'm actually kind of worried I may weaken the strength of the subframe connector. But I did think about trying to do something like that where I could cut it or pinch it, or if there's some way that maybe I could cut the bolt, put the bolt in the other way, and then just cut the bolt down and use the nut and just give myself, a little bit of room. But I haven't had to cross that bridge yet, and I think if I had to cross that bridge, that's going to be a winter project when I have 6 months to do it. All right, so Rob says, why don't you run 2 breathers? Again, when I was running breathers, I found that the breathers would sweat, and I was getting oil on the valve cover and sometimes on the motor. And well, when that happens, then now I got to get a rag and clean everything up. But because I was also doing a lot of highway driving too, so my motor's revving because I got 342 gears with at the time it was a 26-inch tire. I'm revving about 3,200 on the highway, doing about 65 miles per hour. Now that I'm running a little shorter tire, I can get away with it at about 3,000 RPM with 342s. On the Omega, same tire, it revs 3,400 at 60. You could use breathers, but I like to overcomplicate things, and more money than brains, I guess. Ideally, if I had to do this again, I think I would plumb them both to 1 because you can get these catch cans that have 2 inlets, and I think I would do the 2 into 1 instead of. So use the breathe on the valve cars, PCVs for admissions, had an auto teacher lead. The reason I had left the PCV on, and I still have the PCV on the Omega, I'm pretty sure I have it still on the Omega. Let me take a look. Yes, I do. Pretty much the reason I've left that on is because I still have the charcoal canister, I believe, in the Omega. And I leave that in there just so it can vent the gas tank. But really, I don't think I need a PCV valve like you say, because I really don't have much for admissions control now. And, Kim's replying, okay, is it fine? Yeah, Rob, you can run 2 breathers. You could run anything you want. I mean, as long as there's ventilation for the crankcase pressure. And yes, Carson, you're right. PCV is used to suck the fuel back into the carb for it to reburn as part of the exhaust gas recycling. Use PCVs for belt pressure and the piston rings. I know nothing about the turbos. That's something I haven't ventured into yet, is turbos and superchargers. I mean, I'm having a hard enough time with just regular. Okay, and then Kim here for Vintage Air. She's going to post another site to check also. They offer a 3-year warranty and $14.99 for AC, defrost, and heat. Ouch. Okay, my valve covers are baffled, so oil won't run 373. Oh, okay. I actually have baffles in these valve covers as well, and maybe that's why I'm not getting any fluid in it. But I even found with baffles, I was still getting the sweating on the old valve covers myself. And James, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. We're just 40 minutes into it. Sorry we had a late start today. And I think I saw somewhere that Al liked the later start. You know, if this time works better for you folks, and pending hockey, I don't mind starting a little later. I just want to get everybody together, kind of like a group chat, just to talk about Novas. I mean, Novas are cool. Although I know, like I said, I've been guilty the last few weeks between hockey being busy and getting the Nova running again. I haven't been a very good administrator and kept up the streaming. But, you know, come fall and winter time again, I'll have a lot of time on my hands. So hopefully you guys would like to have a conversation. And, I don't know, is anybody even following me on my mystery knock on my car? So I had a mystery knock on the car. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't like all the time. And when you rev it a little, you wouldn't hear it. So, of course, I went through everything: torque converter bolts, motor mount clamps, shell bolts, like every bolt possible. And I couldn't figure it out, but I discovered that my header was cracked at the collector. So I put a new set of headers on, which opened up a whole new can of worms, because now my passenger side header, or hooker header, is about 1 inch higher on the passenger side. So my 3-inch exhaust no longer clears my cross member. So I get to feel every little bit of that. And we tried to make the pipe go down a bit around the cross member at the exhaust shop, but I think it's still a bit of an issue. And I've only driven the car twice now since that's happened, but what it turned out to be was my balancer. And I didn't know this about balancers. Apparently the rubber wears out. So my buddy said, you know, check the weight on the balancer, because I have a 400, which is externally balanced. So I went to grab the weight and just touch it, and the whole balancer moved. I don't know if you could really see that. But not only did it move, but look at this. The inside's turning. So it changes about 10 degrees, and I still haven't put a timing gun to see what my timing is at. So no wonder I had timing issues as well. So yeah, this balancer is pooched. So that was my mystery knock. So thankfully I got that other 400 small block here, and I had a new balancer for it, and that's what I used to fix the car and get it back on the road. And I wouldn't say it's exactly back on the road full time, and it's nice to have a backup car to cruise in and race while the Nova's been down. But I'm probably going to take it out after we're done here tonight, give it a little beating, and I'm pretty sure we're back to being the #1 car very soon. I just got to throw the timing gun on it. And yes, Ron, you can watch old shows. Brian, how you doing? Ron, yes, you can watch the old shows, and maybe I'll find a way if I can post a link to the messages. Just do a search when you go to the Facebook group, Chevy Nova 7374 on the left. I'm talking on the PC, of course. Do a search for the messages and type Chevy Nova 7374 Nova Hour. And that should give you a listing of the shows. Or you know what? Let me just try that here on the PC. Going to 7374. And then I go down to just underneath all the commands on the left side. It'll say search this group. And I put, what's that called? An apostrophe, Chevy Nova 73-74 apostrophe Nova Hour. That's what I call, it's kind of what we came up with the name. So, unfortunately, it's highlighting a lot more than that. But yes, there is a way to watch, though. There's got to be a better way than this. I've actually thought of maybe uploading them to YouTube. And then I could post the links to them. Maybe that's what I'll do. Here I call it the Nova Show. Nova Show. Okay, so maybe it's not Nova Hour, it's the Nova Show. Wow. Gee, I hope the other admins aren't watching, because if they see me screwing up like this, I could be demoted. Okay, so if you do a search for, the apostrophe Chevy Nova 7374 apostrophe Nova Show, you will get some of the listings in the group. And I think there's only about 3 or 4 shows in total. But I do, like I said, I have downloaded them. Maybe what I'll do is I'll upload them to YouTube. And then I can always post the links back here into a post. So you know what, Ron, let me look into that for you. So let me write that down. Past episodes. And they're about an hour each. We kind of go an hour till either I stop talking or nobody posts comments anymore. Because really, I don't want to, just gab and just for the sense of gabbing. And when it starts to get, silence and awkward silence in that, I usually bail. So James, welcome. Dale Simonson, welcome, guys. How you doing? Thanks, James. Yeah, I turned a young 43 today. Okay, so yeah, Ron works a swing shift, so he can't always catch us. So, but they are recorded, Ron, and maybe what I'll do is I'll tag you in them too, so that way you can easily find them. Kim likes that demoted comment because she's probably just waiting for me to mess up so she can jump in there. Yeah, but yeah, it's just going on almost 50 minutes, 11 viewers. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So the things I've got noted here for now is the link to that other X-Body site with our corporate cousins. And to summarize, Chevy Nova 7374 is staying Chevy Nova 7374. I know we have a couple members that have the other models, the corporate cousins. Maybe I'm not kicking anybody out. To kick somebody out because you got an Apollo or an Omega, to me, that's ridiculous. We have one gentleman, he's got a Nova front clip on his Apollo, and he posts Nova-related questions all the time. To me, he's just as much welcome as I am, because like I said, I even sneak in the Omega question. So we're not kicking anybody out if you do have the corporate cousin and you are already in. It's just we're not going to openly accept the corporate cousins. So that's the summary of that. Wheel spacing, again, that was another topic we talked about briefly. I was talking about how to measure offset. Kim uploaded a page on that, so I'll get that posted. I went over traction bars again for John. I hope that answers some of your questions. Vintage Air units for 7374 from vintageair.com, and Kim as well said she was going to post some links to another place. And then Ron was asking about past episodes. So I'm wondering, did I catch everything there? Oh, okay, Al's here. Make a folder in the group. That's possible, Ron. I really haven't looked into it, but if we could, that'd be great. I wonder, actually, you should be able to search for videos. Should you not? Filter results, posts, all posts, most recent, posted by, choose a source. I guess, yeah, you'd have to search my name. Moderate group inside file. Oh, here we go. Videos on the left. And it looks like they may be listed in some of the videos where all the videos are uploaded. So if you go to the videos tab on the Chevy Nova group on the menu on the first page, and you go down, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh one, it shows actually all the videos that have been uploaded to our group by users, including the streams. They are also on there. So I'm inside there. Let's see if I do a search for Nova Show. Will that work? No, it just searches everything again. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna bug Al. Al, I'm gonna pick your brain on that, and we'll see if we could find an easier way for our friends to find our videos. And Rob's asking about, are those drag radials? These are actually some crap tires here that I use when I store my girlfriend's Chevelle in the backyard. But these here are just 235 60-15s. I bought them last year. They're the new tires for the Omega this year. I'm currently running BFG drag radials on the Omega. They no longer make them. And last year I came across a smoking deal on these ET streets, and that's what I'm going to try this year. And I may even try them this weekend coming up. Now, the Omega, I know I'm swearing again, corporate cousin. The Omega has got 274 horse, 297 torque at the rear wheels on the dyno. And when I go to our track, I don't spin the 235 60s at all there. It hooks nicely, it hooks good, and it goes. I'm running low 13s, 13.31, 13.39 the last time I was out. My dad kills that, though. He runs a 14 because he leaves it in drive. But those BF Goodriches have always hooked up good for me. But they are getting a little bald because I do like to, turn them a little when there's a good crowd. But these are my new tires I'm going to try this year. I also have a pair. I don't know if you can see them there, just over on the other side of the Omega. They're 255 60s, which I used on the Nova. I don't like them because they're almost 1.2 inches taller than the old 275 50s BF Goodriches I was using before. So I'm going to be getting a different set for the Nova and then selling those ones because they were just too tall. And then Craig and Al, those guys, they both want Pontiac Venturas. Any reason why Venturas over Omegas or Apollos? I myself, I would love to have an Apollo just because there's none around. But really, you can't replace the Chevy Nova. I love my Chevy Nova. I'm not changing it. It's going to look like a 73, 74. I love my Chevy Nova. Originally, when I had bought the Omega, I bought the Omega in 2005 with the intent of parting it out because I wanted the doors for the Nova. It's got the chrome around the top, and this passenger side door is actually in better shape than the one on my Nova, which has its rust in the corner, which I've shown on previous episodes. But when I started going through the car and listing all the parts that were good, which were worth keeping, me and some friends, we decided, you know what? We should actually fix this car, put it on the road. And lo and behold, 14 years later, I have an Omega still. Okay, so Robert says he's going to try running 235 60s. What kind of power are you pushing in your car, Rob? The Omega is a small block 355. Again, 274, 297 at the rear wheels. So if your setup is similar to that, you'll probably be fine with 235s. Okay, yeah. So Craig likes the Pontiac grill, thinks it's cool and has nice taillights. I will admit the taillights are nice. A friend of mine, Skylar, has a Pontiac Ventura. He's got a 73. And at the swap meet the other weekend, he found a set of taillights that were in better shape than his. The guy only wanted $20. Man, I would have bought those for $20, and I don't have a Ventura. So that's pretty cool. And then Matt said he saw his first Apollo. I mean, they're still out there. It's just not far and few between. Our one member who has a Nova clip on his Apollo, I would actually change it back. Like, Apollos are more rare, but and you know, I have been guilty. I've thought of actually putting a Nova front clip on the old Omega because I can't find fenders. Well, you can't see it from, maybe you can. I don't know if you can see it from back there, but I've got, you know, the rust. I got a hole here. I got lots of holes here. And then some in the corner. You just can't buy replacement fenders. So I've thought about doing it. Yes, I have thought, and I have been looking for one ever since I got the Omega. I've been looking to get one of those Ventura shaker scoop, shaker hoods. That would be cool. So, Rob, when you build that 383 stroker, you might need a little more tire than a 235/60, but I mean, you could try. Oh, look, see, Craig said he went 530s on at 130 on 235s. But Craig also has a very good suspension setup too. Not too sure how well that would work in our stock suspension. I mean, the Nova, when I dynoed it last, it was 323 horse. I forget, 347 torque. I could always try putting the 235s on here and seeing how it will go. All right, I got a few more comments here. I finally found out how to lock the rear end of my Nova. I had to back up 15 feet, lock my rear end. It locked up, and I tested both tires engaged, and I couldn't keep it on the road. I got at least 400. What kind of rear end what's it called? The carrier are you running there, Eric? I'm kind of curious to that. I've never heard of that, where you back up to lock a rear end. That's kind of cool. I know I got a Detroit True Track in the Omega because it was originally a one-wheel wonder. The Nova, again, I'm just running a stock posi still. It's still holding. And yeah, like Ron says, if you could find an Omega, Apollo, or Ventura front clip. They actually make a fiberglass front clip for the 74 Omega, believe it or not, but I can't justify spending that kind of money on that car. You know, Craig, with you saying that, I'm very curious, and I would love to hear your ideas for modifying a stock suspension, because that's something I could probably incorporate into the Omega. Sadly, when I learned to weld, and I'm by no means am I a body man or trying to pretend to be one, but my friends and I don't know, you can't see it from here, but we did half quarters on the Omega and fixed the wheel wells. And I guess when I was, grinding stuff and cleaning stuff up, and originally I got the wheel well on, and I put the quarter on. I don't know how, but I ended up pulling the quarter in and actually shrunk my wheel tubbing, my wheel spacing in the wheel well. And I can't really go wider than a 245/60 on that car. So the 235/60, I've always stayed away from putting any more power in the Omega because I don't know how I'm going to fit a tire on it. So Craig, please, I would love to hear your ideas, as well as probably a lot of our viewers would love to hear. And hey guys, the admin, our main creator, William Hamlet, has joined us. Will, how you doing, buddy? You're a little late. We're almost an hour into this, but hey, better late than never. Yes, Daniel, I'm glad you brought that up. We discussed that actually a couple streams ago. We were talking about YouTube channels. And actually, Steve, who has the Reborn 74 Nova, is changing his site right now. Is Reborn Nova, I don't know if that's his new site or his old site. But he's in the midst of changing and redoing his videos, and he will be reposting them. But that guy, Steve, who has the Reborn 74 Nova, if you go to Steve's Nova site, the message form there, and do a search for Reborn 74, the modifications that guy has come up with for Novas is astounding. The guy is absolutely brilliant. In fact, that's the guy who I copied and got the setup for my clear park lights from his video. I also went further. I've got intermittent wiper circuit here that I'm going to put in the Nova. Oh. Well, I don't have the keys. Okay, well, that's how you turn off a car alarm. Oops. Okay, one sec. Yeah, I know you're not happy. You're not happy. I know it's not all about you this time, is it? All right, that's how you turn off a car alarm. Okay, where was I? Yes, the Reborn 74 Nova. Worth checking out Steve's videos for sure. I think he's got almost 140. I do have the links posted on my chevynova.ca website on my Nova site, but with him changing channels, I got to update all the links, so they won't be up right now. So, oh, hey, Will, thank you, buddy. And yeah, you know, Craig, I would love to see suspension mods for Nova leaf spring cars. That would be awesome. Yeah. I'm glad I could entertain you a little bit there, Eric. And you know, it's funny, when I came out here too, I didn't even realize the car's alarm. I thought to myself, you know, I really should have the keys just in case. So yeah, I had to take the top one off too, because I have the dual battery post, factory wirings on the side, but my fuel injection goes to the top, and I guess it was going through the ground. It's still chirping, but yeah. Not so loud now, are you? I win. And see, look at the Omega there, eh? The corporate cousin behaving. No, not causing any disruption or anything like that. No, no, no. So, Will, again, glad you could join us. We touched on the subject of our sister group now. Wheel spacing, traction bars, and vintage air setups. And we've just touched over an hour here, guys. So if anybody's got any questions to that or something, I guess really I need to do a better follow-up, because I didn't prepare properly for this today. So I really apologize. That hopefully you still found this somewhat entertaining, amusing, or you may have learned something. I got a few things noted here. Like I said, I still got to post up the summary of the last one, which we talked about power steering versus manual steering, the 68 to 72 hood, 73 hood, headlights, like the aftermarket headlights that some of us are now running, fan shrouds, alternators, and memberships, what it takes to join our group. And then we had some guys who were talking links for parts for sale, and speedo and trans gears. That was on the last episode. So I will still get around to posting that summary up, as well as a little write-up on this summary. And I'm going to talk with Al, hopefully pick his brain, seeing if there's a way we can post and separate these stream videos from the regular videos on the site, just so making it easier for people to find. Yeah, no, I did have a good birthday. Thanks, Al. And usual work day, and then I came home and I was planning to, you know, get everything ready to do a show. And then the girlfriend's like, we're going for dinner. And I couldn't say no to her. So we went for dinner, and I just, like I said, I'm totally unprepared for this, guys, and I'm sorry. But it seems like a lot of you guys are enjoying it anyway. And I love the fact that there was a lot of chat going on. Kim, your knowledge and insight here into this vintage era that obviously you've done some research to. So guys, Kim, Miss Nova Girl, pick her brain. She obviously has done some work. And then, Eric's just talking about his car again here. Thinking about a supercharger, 100 added horsepower, 3000 stall converter. Yeah. I've thought of superchargers. I've thought of pro chargers or turbos along the way, but I have a hard enough time just running a basic car. And then I added fuel injection to this one 2 years ago. I just got the cable to connect the laptop up to it, and I had the car running for just over a week before I had the mystery knock and header stuff. And I'm going to put the timing gun on it. I'm going to take it out for a ride again tonight. So I'm still working. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I don't even want to try and entertain the idea of putting a Pro Charger. Oh, it just gives me a headache thinking about it. And these guys are all talking about their stalls now. Eric's talking about his stall, and Will as well. And yeah, like I said, I have a TCI 3000 Street Fighter in this car. I have a 2500 in the Omega. That's not enough. I got to change that, but that car runs so well, I don't want to pull it apart to touch anything. I mean, we got 270 passes on that motor, transmission, rear end, since 2011, knock on wood. Car runs great. I think the secret of its long life has been when my dad races, he puts it in drive. When you leave it in drive and floor it, it shifts at 4,200 and 4,600. Where when I race it, I shift it at 55 and 55. So that's probably been the secret to its long life, is the low shift points. And I think that's going to be it. Kind of got some awkward silence going on here now. Just going to wait and see if any more chats come in. Yeah, no, I think that's going to be all, folks. So again, thank you for the happy birthdays, guys. Yeah, 43. To me, it's just a number now. You know, when you're a little younger, you kind of worry about that age when you get to be that age. And then when you're at that age, it's just a number. I mean, I'm at the age now where, you know, I got my garage now. I've got my cars, my health, my family. I'm very blessed in that matter there. And you just got to take every day for what it is. Not to get religious on people. Thank the good Lord for looking after me. And also, I know it was Memorial Day, I believe, for the U.S. this past week. So we'd like to thank all our service members. I know in Canada, we celebrate a different way, but to the U.S. soldiers as well from Canada, thank you very much. William, our main admin, has made a great sacrifice fighting for our country. So, Will, thank you very much for your service, sir, and for the great cost that it costed you to do so that we may have stuff like Facebook and the freedoms to express ourselves, the freedoms to do this kind of streaming and talking. Will paid a high price for that, folks. So again, to all service members, thank you very much for your service, and to future members. So I guess we'll leave it at that. Oh, I've got some comments coming in. Oh, Ron says he's still listening, but if I'm done, I'm done. Oh, I mean, I can keep yammering, Ron, if you want. A drop in RPMs. In which way, Will? And fun show. I'll try to catch you when I can. Oh, yeah, Greg, I'd love to have you. I mean, you'll be a wealth of information. Really, Will, between the two motors, I don't really notice a difference because, again, I'm running a 400 here, a 355 in the other car. The only thing I notice the difference in RPMs is when I'm traveling in speed, which is about 400 RPM difference because I have 342s and 373s. That's the only time I really notice a difference in the RPMs. I also have a custom governor in the Nova when I bought the transmission from Dan, who built the motor, where the governor and the weights are set up to shift at 5,500 in drive. So really, I don't even have to manually shift the Nova, but I do because it's fun. And yeah, thanks, Craig. Yeah, I'm going to go out for a cruise now for my birthday and go get a couple free drinks here and there from a few friends. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Hey, if you guys want to chat anytime you have any questions, please feel free to personal message me. I'm pretty sure some of these other guys won't mind a personal message too, but I'm open for personal messages. If you want to friend me, I mean, the only thing I post on my Facebook is either car stuff or stuff relating to my ball hockey or that. I tried to avoid the political posts and stuff like that. I just like talking about cars. And you might see the odd post about a Mustang because I might be bringing my Mustang out soon. So, but you won't see me posting that on Chevy Nova 7374 or on 7374 X Body Nova Omega Ventura Apollo, which is our sister group. Don't forget to sign up for that one as well. I guess that's it, folks. Let's check the comments one more time. And we'll, getting back to gears again, I heard the different ratios between 308, 342, 373s, and 410s is about 400 RPM difference, I'm told, if you use the same size tire. So I guess that's it. I got nothing witty to say. I guess, you know, the old usual, smoke tires, not drugs. Again, Will and the soldiers, thank you for your service. And we'll try to catch you guys again next week. I'll post later in the week. We'll try and get an agenda so I can get a little head time and try to be better prepared for you guys. So take care, guys. We'll see you again.